Start small, plant a cover crop, fence a pasture, try rotational grazing, observe and adapt. Cover the soil, minimize disturbance, maximize diversity, integrate livestock, maintain living routes. Every step improves your land, your profitability, and your legacy. Dead soils come back to life, teeming with worms, fungi, and wildlife. We have the knowledge, tools, and examples. Now we need the will to change.
A proper introduction. All right, everyone, how are you doing? Let's have a little chat about something really, really important. It's all about food, my favorite subject, as you know. But we're not just talking about whipping up a lovely bit of grub in 30 minutes. We're talking about something bigger. We're talking about making sure everyone, and I mean everyone, your nan down the road, a kid on the other side of the world, has enough good, proper food to eat. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But blimey, it's a massive puzzle we've got to solve together. So, let's get stuck in and figure this out. Think about your dinner last night. Was it tasty? Did you have enough? Now, imagine going to bed with a rumbling tummy. Not because you're on a diet, but because there was simply nothing in the cupboards. That's the reality for millions of people. And honestly, it's just not right. We live on a planet that grows more than enough food to feed every single person. So the problem isn't about not having enough food. The problem is about how we share it. It's about fairness, or the lack of it. This isn't just about charity, it's about building a better, stronger world for our kids. Over the next few pages, we're going to break it all down. No confusing jargon, no complicated stuff. We'll look at what this idea of fair food for all really means, the hard facts, the places where things are going wrong, the reasons behind it all. It can be a bit of a tough topic, I won't lie, but it's one we need to face head on. Because once we understand the problem, we can start finding the solutions. And trust me, there are solutions, and they are simpler than you might think. So grab a cuppa, get comfy, and let's talk. This isn't about making you feel guilty about that extra slice of cake you had. This is about opening our eyes and our hearts. It's about understanding that the food on our plates is connected to the health of our communities, the happiness of people everywhere. It's about igniting a little spark in all of us to make a change, one small, brilliant step at a time. It's a food revolution, and everyone's invited to the party. Let's do this. So, what's all this chatter about equitable food distribution? Let's strip it back. It sounds a bit posh, but all it really means is making sure everyone has a fair chance to get the good food they need to be healthy and happy. It's not about giving everyone the exact same plate of food. Your mate Bob might love a curry while you fancy a lovely pasta. It's about making sure both of you can get fresh, nutritious ingredients, no matter your money or where you live. It's about fairness, simple as that. Imagine a massive, beautiful apple tree, absolutely loaded with juicy red apples. Now, equal distribution would be trying to give every single person 5 apples. But what if one person is a tiny baby who only needs 1, and another is feeding a family of 6 and needs 20? Equitable means looking at what people actually need. The family gets the 20 apples for a gorgeous crumble. The baby gets the 1 they can manage. Everyone gets what they need to thrive. Right, let's get real. This isn't far off. It's on our doorstep and worldwide. Let's talk about food deserts. It's easier to buy a lottery ticket than a fresh lemon. You might travel miles past fast food and snack shops just to find decent fruit and veg. For families with little kids, for older people, that's a massive challenge. It's not fair, is it? Farmers grow global staples, yet get a tiny fraction of the final price. After everyone else takes a cut, they're left struggling to feed their own families. That's bonkers. About 1/3 of food produced is lost or wasted. 1/3 perfectly edible food gets tossed. Supermarkets, restaurants, even our homes, all that energy, water, hard work, into the bin while millions go hungry. A tragedy and a scandal. Nearly 800 million people went to bed hungry last year, more than 10 times the UK's population. At the same time, obesity soars, too much of the wrong food in some places, not enough of the right food in others. The system's out of whack. So why does this happen? A massive part of the puzzle is poverty. It's the big one. When you're struggling with rent, electric, and transport, food is the thing you can cut. People buy the cheapest, most filling foods, not the healthiest. Another reason, how food travels. A massive, complicated business with power in a few global hands. They control from seeds to shelf, and let's be honest, the goal is profit. Crops flow to profit, not always to people in need. It's profit over people. Conflict devastates food. Farmers can't reach fields. Roads blocked, shops destroyed. Food even used as a weapon. In places like Yemen and Sudan, children suffer not for lack of food globally, but because war and politics block it. Climate change brings floods and droughts, wrecking crops and spiking prices. Those who contributed least are hit hardest. A cruel irony. It's broken, and we need to fix it. The current system? A bit of a mess. It's a long chain. At every step, someone needs a margin. Food travels thousands of miles. Farmers get less, we pay more. Perfection standards fuel waste. Wonky but delicious produce gets rejected. Perfectly edible, delicious, nutritious, chucked for looks. We value how food looks, not how it nourishes. Food just appears, so we undervalue it and waste it. When you've watered, watched and harvested your own, you'd never throw it away. Rebuild connection to food and farmers. We rely on a few crops. A disease or bad harvest can shake global supply and prices. We used to eat more varieties, better for our health and the planet. We've prized efficiency over resilience, a gamble we can't afford to lose. Now, the good stuff. Why does this matter? Health. Food is the biggest factor in keeping our bodies working. Access to fresh, nutritious food makes people healthier. It's that simple. More energy, kids do better in school. Less diet-related disease, type 2, diabetes, heart problems, some cancers. Hunger breeds stress and anxiety. It's hard to focus on work, kids, community. A well-fed community is happier, more stable, more productive. Poor diet strains healthcare. We spend billions treating preventable illness. Investing in access saves money. In a world of plenty, no one should go hungry. Ensuring access is a measure of our compassion. Food ties us to the farmer and to the land. Building a fair system builds a kinder, more connected world for our kids and grandkids. It's simply the right thing to do. Right, enough problems. Let's talk solutions we can start in our own communities. We don't have to wait for the big bosses. We can start here. Find unused land in parks, behind schools, vacant lots, and grow fruit and veg together. Fresh food for pennies, exercise, meet neighbors, teach kids where food comes from. Win-win-win. Support food banks with donations or time. Community fridges share surplus, no questions asked. Stop good food going in the bin, get it to people who need it. Build trust and kindness. Support local producers. Fresher, tastier food, money straight to growers, not middlemen. Pick imperfect produce. Every pound you spend is a vote for the food system you want. Start simple classes in community centres and schools. Teach delicious, healthy meals on a budget. When you know how to cook, you have the power to turn simple ingredients into something gorgeous. Skills and confidence transform health and diets. Lovely jubbly. This is how change begins, right where we live. A message to the government. We're doing our bit, but we need you to step up with bold changes. Ensure fair prices for farmers. Stop supermarkets squeezing them. When farmers are paid properly, they invest in food that's good for us and the planet. Tackle food deserts, incentivize stores, support small fresh shops, and make transport affordable, so healthy food is the easy choice. Fund hot, nutritious school meals for every kid. It helps them concentrate and grow. Put food education on the curriculum. Teach cooking and nutrition early. Set clear food waste targets. Make donating surplus easy. Run national campaigns so households waste less. Redirect edible food from landfill to plates. It's common sense, and it's time for action. So, there you have it. It's a big topic, I know, but it boils down to fairness. The current system creates waste, hurts farmers, and leaves millions behind. But we can change it. We have the knowledge, the resources, and the will. This isn't a dream. It's a plan. It starts with us. The food we buy, the meals we cook, the conversations we have. Support a local farmer. Cook from scratch. Waste a little bit less. You are part of the solution. Small actions together become a powerful movement. We are not powerless. We are cooks, parents, neighbors, citizens. Imagine thriving markets, every child cooking at school, farmers respected and paid fairly, and no edible food thrown away. This future is within reach. Healthier, happier, kinder, and more delicious for everyone. Let's start this food revolution in our kitchens and communities. Talk to our politicians. Support the heroes already at work. Teach our kids the joy of real food.
Hello, I'm Rania, and I dream of a world where everyone has enough to eat, you know? But it's not easy. My little farm, it's struggling. Then I heard about something called the Peaceism Ecosystem. It's like magic. Suddenly, my crops started dancing with life. Smart little creatures appeared, helping me tend the fields. My farm connected with others around the world. Now we're not just growing food, we're growing peace. From my small plot to the whole wide world, we're building a sustainable future together. This is our story, the story of peaceism.
Right then, let's get stuck in. When we talk about equitable food distribution, what are we really on about? It sounds a bit posh, a bit complicated, but it's actually dead simple. It means everyone, and I mean everyone, gets a fair shot at having enough good, nutritious food to eat. Every single day. It doesn't matter if you live in a massive city or a tiny village. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. It means your postcode or your bank balance shouldn't decide whether you get to eat a proper, lovely meal. It's about fairness. Simple as that. It's about making sure that the amazing food we grow on this planet actually reaches the people who need it. So, what's the current situation? Honestly, it's a bit of a dog's dinner. Our modern food system is a marvel in many ways. We can get strawberries in winter, spices from the other side of the world. But look under the bonnet and you'll see some serious problems. The biggest issue is a massive disconnect. We produce more than enough food to feed every single person on the planet, yet hundreds of millions go to bed hungry every night. How can that be right? It's completely bonkers. The food is there, but it's not getting to them. The system is broken. Too often, it's designed for profit, not for people. Food travels thousands of miles. The price gets bumped up at every step. This makes it expensive for people on low incomes. Supermarkets might be piled high, but if you can't afford it, it might as well be on the moon. This creates food deserts, fast food joints everywhere, nowhere to buy fresh, affordable fruit and veg. So people are left with unhealthy, processed options, which leads to a whole host of health problems. On top of the hunger, there's the waste. A huge chunk, around a third, never even gets eaten. It gets chucked away, fields, shops, restaurants, even at home. It's upside down. Let's talk numbers for a minute. I promise to keep it simple. The facts are staggering. Globally, we throw away about 1.3 billion tons of food every year. That's a billion with a B. Imagine a massive queue of bin lorries around the earth 7 times. All of that is food that could have been eaten enough to feed around 2 billion people, while over 800 million don't have enough to eat. The maths doesn't add up. It's a moral and logistical catastrophe. Waste happens everywhere, from the farm, from wholesale and shops, to your fridge. Farmers grow more than they can sell, or weather hits. But a lot is cosmetic wonky carrots, blemished tomatoes, perfectly edible, rejected for not looking pretty. Shops overstock to look abundant. Unsold gets binned. Restaurants guess demand. Leftovers go. At home we overbuy, store badly, misread dates, and chuck leftovers. Millions of small wastes add up to a mountain. We use precious land, water, and energy to grow, then more to transport and refrigerate only, to throw a massive chunk away, while a mother somewhere struggles to feed her child. Heartbreaking. The gap between the haves and the have-nots is never clearer than what's on their plates. For wealthier people, food is about choice, abundance, pleasure, 20 kinds of bread, exotic fruits, organic, gluten-free, vegan, plates piled high, sometimes more than we can eat. We worry about calories and carbs. Too many choices can be the problem. For people living in poverty, food is not about choice, it's about survival. Enough calories to get through the day, fresh fruit, lean protein. Whole grains become unaffordable luxuries. Diets skew to cheap, calorie-dense but nutrient-poor foods. Not from ignorance, it's cost. Cruel paradox, in the same city, some face obesity and type 2 diabetes, others face malnutrition, and you can be overweight and malnourished at the same time. Poor diets from birth affect development, concentration, health, trapping families in poverty. Food shapes your health, opportunities, and future. The rich plate versus poor plate is a major injustice we must fix. Right, enough of the doom and gloom. We know it's a mess, so what's the solution? What does a fairer food future look like? We value food properly and waste as little as possible. Imagine supermarkets with perfectly imperfect sections. Wonky veg sold at a discount. Near sell-by food is routed via simple apps to charities, soup kitchens, food banks, getting to people who need it. Stronger links between farmers and eaters. Food travels less, local networks grow. Support small-scale farmers, diversify crops, sell directly to communities, farmers markets, CSA shares, local shops, fairer prices for farmers, fresher, more nutritious food for us. Education is massive. Teach where food comes from, how to grow it, and how to cook simple, healthy meals. Every school, a garden and a teaching kitchen. Kids connect to food and waste less. A fair system makes healthy food easy and affordable. Subsidize fruit and veg, make ultra-processed junk more expensive, ensure community kitchens and gardens, design towns without food deserts, built on community, common sense, respect for farmers, and the food itself. So, you're fired up? Right. What can I actually do? It can feel massive, but small actions add up. Start at home. Stop wasting food. Plan meals. Write a list. Buy only what you need. Get friendly with your freezer. It's your best mate. Half a loaf, whiz breadcrumbs, freeze. Soft bananas, banana bread. Be curious. Buy local when you can. Farmers markets, farm shops, or look for local labels. Cut food miles. Don't be a food snob. Wonky veg tastes the same. Buying it signals you care about taste and stopping waste. Learn a few basics. You don't have to be a chef. A simple soup, a pasta sauce, a lovely omelette. Cooking gives control, saves money, improves health, and fights waste. Get kids involved. Get your mates round. Make it fun. Use your voice. Talk to friends. Share what you learn. Write to supermarkets about waste and local sourcing. Ask counsellors about tackling food poverty. Our choices and our questions both matter. Don't think small actions don't count. They are the seeds of a food revolution. While individual actions are brilliant, the real magic happens when we come together. Community gardens turn neglected patches, parks, churchyards, estates into places to grow food. Young hands in soil, older hands guiding. People learn, share the harvest, and fresh food becomes accessible to everyone. Food clubs, pantries differ from food banks. Members pay a small fee for a bag of fresh and cupboard food, often $15–20 in value, sourced from surplus. It builds dignity, budgeting, and reduces stigma. Community kitchens teach basic skills, budget planning, cooking with surplus, batch cooking for the week, shared meals that tackle isolation as well as hunger. Partner with local farms for veg box schemes, collect surplus from shops and restaurants, organize gleaning to collect produce left in fields. Communities can plug gaps and create local solutions to a global problem. It's neighbors helping neighbors, and that is incredibly powerful. Fixing our food system benefits everything. Access to affordable, nutritious food means fewer cases of malnutrition, obesity, and diet-related disease. Less pressure on the NHS. Kids concentrate, learn, and reach their potential. Supporting local farmers and producers keeps money in the community, creates jobs, supports families, and builds resilience. Money goes to the people who grow and make our food, not distant corporations. Today's production and waste harm soil, water, and climate. Landfilled food releases methane. A fairer, more local, less wasteful system means less pollution, healthier soil, more biodiversity, and a smaller carbon footprint. Food connects us. Sharing, cooking, and growing together break down barriers, strengthen the social fabric, and reduce loneliness. A right to good food builds kindness, dignity, and justice. It makes our world a better, more compassionate place to live. So, there you have it. The food system is complex, but the solutions are simple and full of hope. Not an impossible dream, just common sense changes that transform the world. We already grow enough, the food is there. The knowledge and passion are there. We need to connect the dots for fairness, not just profit. Power isn't only with governments or big companies, it's in our hands too. Every time you buy a wonky carrot, cook from scratch, or turn leftovers into something delicious, you cast a vote for a better food future and become part of the solution. When a garden starts or surplus is shared, we build fairness from the ground up. Small sparks light a massive fire of change, a ripple through our communities. We're on the cusp of a food revolution. People are asking where food comes from and demanding better. The energy is building. Let's grab it with both hands. Be bold, be creative, and work together. Teach kids, lobby politicians, support local food heroes, make some noise for people and planet. A future where no child goes to bed hungry, no farmer is forced into poverty, and good food is a right for everyone. Let's roll up our sleeves, get our hands dirty, and get cooking for change. Come on, let's do this. Lovely jubbly.
Welcome to the Food Security and Sovereignty Expo Hall, part of the World Peace Products and Services Expo and Conference. I am delighted to guide you through this immersive experience where innovation, technology, and sustainability come together to address one of humanity's most pressing challenges: how to feed the world fairly and responsibly. Food is more than just nourishment. It is the foundation of peace, health, and resilience. When communities have secure access to healthy food, they thrive. When they do not, conflict, inequality, and suffering emerge. That is why food security and sovereignty stand at the heart of the Peaceism ecosystem. Today, we will explore three powerful dimensions: regenerative agriculture, farming practices that restore soil, water, and biodiversity while creating meaningful livelihoods; smart farming technology, digital tools like drones, sensors, and data platforms that make agriculture more efficient, climate-friendly, and resilient; equitable food distribution, systems that ensure fairness, giving small farmers access to markets and making nutritious food available to all, not just the privileged few. Welcome to Booth 1, Regenerative Agriculture. This is where we look at how farming can not only feed people, but also heal the earth. Traditional agriculture, especially industrial monocropping, has taken a heavy toll on our planet. Soil erosion, water depletion, and loss of biodiversity are just some of the consequences. But regenerative agriculture is different. It's based on the idea that farms can function like living ecosystems, restoring balance, capturing carbon, and creating livelihoods that last for generations. Let's look at some of the key practices that make regenerative farming so powerful. First, cover cropping and composting. Instead of leaving fields bare after harvest, farmers plant cover crops, plants like legumes, clover, or rye that enrich the soil naturally. These plants add organic matter, fix nitrogen, and prevent erosion. When combined with composting, farmers recycle waste back into the soil, turning farms into self-renewing systems. The result? Healthier soil, less dependence on synthetic fertilizers, and greater resilience to droughts and floods. Second, agroforestry. This approach integrates trees into farming systems. Imagine rows of fruit or nut trees planted alongside food crops or pasture land. The trees provide shade, improve soil moisture, capture carbon, and create habitats for birds and pollinators. Farmers gain multiple income streams, from timber, fruits, or nuts, while reducing risk and improving sustainability. Agroforestry brings back diversity to landscapes that industrial farming made uniform. Third, circular farming systems. This means designing farms where every output becomes an input. Animal manure fertilizes crops. Crop residues feed animals. Water is recycled. Nothing is wasted. These closed-loop systems mimic nature itself, where every part plays a role in sustaining the whole. Circular farming reduces costs, lowers emissions, and builds resilience against climate shocks. To see how this works in practice, let's explore a real-world example. For decades, cocoa farming was linked to deforestation and soil degradation. But in recent years, Brazilian farmers adopting regenerative methods have turned this around. They began integrating cocoa trees into agroforestry systems alongside native species. This restored local biodiversity, improved soil fertility, and revived wildlife habitats. At the same time, it created thousands of rural jobs, ensuring families could stay on their land with stable incomes. These farms didn't just produce cocoa beans, they rebuilt communities, ecosystems, and hope. And this is not limited to Brazil. Similar regenerative models are now thriving in Africa, Asia, and North America. Farmers are proving that with the right practices, agriculture can become a solution to climate change rather than a cause. Now imagine this at scale. Millions of farmers worldwide adopting regenerative practices, supported by technology, policy, and consumer demand. We could capture billions of tons of carbon from the atmosphere, restore degraded lands, and create jobs in the process. Regenerative agriculture is more than a farming method. It's a philosophy. It asks us to see the land not as a resource to exploit, but as a partner to nurture. By working with nature instead of against it, we create abundance that is shared fairly, sustainably, and peacefully. If regenerative agriculture is about healing the land, then smart farming is about harnessing the power of technology to make farming more precise, efficient, and sustainable. It's about growing more food with fewer resources, and doing so in a way that reduces waste and protects the planet. Let's explore the innovations driving this revolution. First, AI-powered drones. Imagine drones flying over fields, scanning every plant in real time. Their cameras and sensors detect signs of disease, pest outbreaks, or nutrient deficiencies that the human eye might miss. Instead of spraying an entire field with chemicals, drones help farmers target only the plants that need attention. This reduces pesticide use, lowers costs, and protects ecosystems. In some regions, drones even plant seeds or spray natural fertilizers from the air, turning agriculture into a high-tech, sustainable operation. Second, IoT sensors. IoT, or the Internet of Things, is transforming farms into data-driven ecosystems. Small, affordable sensors placed in soil and irrigation systems monitor moisture, temperature, and nutrient levels 24/7. The data is sent to farmers' smartphones or dashboards, allowing them to water crops only when needed and apply fertilizer with pinpoint precision. This not only saves water, but also reduces runoff that pollutes rivers and lakes. In regions where droughts are becoming more frequent, IoT sensors are a lifeline for food security. Third, blockchain for transparency. Food today travels long distances, from farms to supermarkets to our plates. But how do we know where it came from, or whether it was produced sustainably? Blockchain technology provides a solution. By recording every step of a product's journey in a secure, unchangeable ledger, blockchain ensures farm-to-table transparency. Consumers can scan a code on a package and instantly learn which farm grew their produce, how it was harvested, and whether fair trade or organic practices were followed. This builds trust, empowers ethical choices, and rewards farmers who do things right. Now let's take a closer look at a real-world success story. Case study, the Netherlands. The Netherlands is one of the world's smallest countries by land, yet it has become the second largest exporter of food, right behind the United States. How? By embracing smart farming technologies. Dutch vertical farms powered by AI grow vegetables under controlled indoor conditions, stacked in layers that rise like skyscrapers. These systems use LED lighting, climate controls, and hydroponics to produce food year-round, regardless of weather. The results are astonishing. 10 times more yield per square meter, using 90% less water than traditional farming. And because the farms are often located near cities, transportation emissions are also drastically reduced. This isn't science fiction. It's happening right now. From AI algorithms predicting crop yields, to robots harvesting lettuce, to satellites monitoring global food supplies, smart farming is rewriting the future of agriculture. The benefits are clear. More food to feed a growing population. Less waste of water, fertilizer, and energy. greater resilience against climate change, supply chain disruptions, and global shocks. But beyond efficiency, smart farming also represents fairness. By giving farmers access to real-time data and tools, it levels the playing field between large-scale agribusinesses and smallholder farmers. With the right technology, even a small family farm can optimize its output, increase income, and join global supply chains. When combined with regenerative practices we saw at Booth 1, smart farming technology becomes a powerful force, restoring ecosystems while scaling food production. Together, these approaches bring us closer to a future where no one goes hungry and farming becomes a driver of peace, prosperity, and sustainability. When we talk about food security, the challenge isn't always producing enough food. In fact, the world already produces more than enough to feed every person on the planet. The real problem is fairness in access, ensuring that food gets to the people who need it at the right time and at a fair price. Every year, nearly 1/3 of all food produced globally is wasted. At the same time, hundreds of millions of people go hungry. This mismatch isn't a question of scarcity. It's about broken systems of distribution. Equitable food distribution focuses on closing this gap so that abundance is shared rather than lost. Let's look at some of the solutions making a real difference. First, digital food banks. Traditional food banks have been vital in serving communities in need, but they often face logistical challenges like storage, transportation, and mismatched supply and demand. Digital food banks change the game by using technology to link surplus food directly with communities who need it. Imagine a restaurant, supermarket, or farm with extra stock. Instead of going to waste, the surplus is logged into a digital platform, and within hours, it can be matched with local charities, schools, or households. This creates a real-time safety net where no food goes unused and no family is left behind. Second, farmer cooperatives. Smallholder farmers, who produce much of the world's food, often face unfair prices from middlemen who take the largest share of profits. Cooperatives give farmers the power of collective bargaining. By pooling resources, sharing equipment, and negotiating together, farmers can connect directly to markets without being exploited. This means higher incomes, fairer trade, and stronger rural economies. Cooperatives also provide training, access to finance, and resilience against shocks like climate change or price fluctuations. Third, mobile-based platforms for fair payments. In many rural areas, farmers and vendors still rely on cash transactions that are slow, insecure, and often unfair. Mobile-based platforms are changing that. With just a simple phone, farmers can check market prices, receive digital payments instantly, and access microloans for seeds or equipment. This transparency prevents exploitation, builds trust, and ensures that farmers are rewarded fairly for their hard work. These platforms also allow buyers and sellers to connect directly, reducing unnecessary intermediaries and lowering costs for consumers. Case study, Rwanda's EXPO platform. Rwanda provides a powerful example of how digital tools can transform food distribution. The government launched EXPO, a mobile platform that allows farmers to check market prices in real time and sell directly to buyers. Before EXPO, farmers often had to accept whatever price middlemen offered, without knowing the true value of their crops. Now, with access to accurate data and digital payments, farmers have more control, higher incomes, and greater stability. At the same time, consumers benefit from lower prices and fresher produce. Waste is reduced, and fairness is increased. The story of EXPO reminds us that equitable food distribution is not just about technology, it's about dignity. When farmers are paid fairly, they can send their children to school, invest in their communities, and break cycles of poverty. When consumers have reliable access to affordable, nutritious food, entire societies become healthier and more resilient. Imagine scaling these solutions worldwide. Digital food banks connecting surplus in New York or Dhaka with families in need. Cooperatives across Africa and Asia giving small farmers the same market power as industrial producers. Mobile payment systems ensuring that no farmer, no matter how remote, is left behind. Equitable food distribution means fairness, opportunity, and peace. It ensures that food, the most basic human need, is treated not as a privilege, but as a universal right. And it reminds us that solving hunger is not about producing more, but about sharing better. Now that we've explored the big picture, let's look at 3 smart farming innovations in action. Real solutions that are already changing the way food is produced and distributed. First, drone monitoring. Imagine standing at the edge of a large cornfield. Traditionally, a farmer might walk rows for hours, trying to spot signs of pests or disease, often missing small but critical problems until it was too late. Today, AI-powered drones can scan entire fields in minutes. Their high-resolution cameras and infrared sensors detect patterns invisible to the human eye. A patch of yellowing leaves, an unusual heat signature, or the early traces of insect damage. The data is analyzed instantly, generating a detailed map of problem areas. Instead of spraying chemicals across the whole field, farmers can now target only the affected zones. This saves money, protects the soil, and drastically reduces pesticide use. It's not just efficiency, it's a leap forward for sustainability and human health. Second, vertical hydroponics. Picture walking into an apartment building in the heart of a busy city, and instead of a dusty storage room, you find a vertical hydroponic farm. Rows of leafy greens, herbs, and tomatoes are stacked floor to ceiling, growing without soil, using only nutrient-rich water and LED lighting. AI systems control temperature, humidity, and light cycles to optimize growth 24/7. Residents harvest fresh produce right where they live, reducing the need for long supply chains. This model, already flourishing in places like Singapore and New York, produces 10 times more food per square meter while using 90% less water. For crowded urban centers, vertical hydroponics offers food security without expanding farmland, proving that cities themselves can become sources of fresh, sustainable food. Third, the traceability app. Have you ever wondered where your food really comes from? With a simple smartphone app, consumers can now scan a QR code on a package of rice, fruit, or coffee and immediately see its full journey, from the farm where it was grown, to the trucks and warehouses it passed through, to the supermarket shelf. The app also reveals critical data, the carbon footprint of production, whether fair trade standards were met, and exactly how much the farmer earned. This transparency empowers consumers to make ethical choices while rewarding farmers who adopt sustainable practices. It turns every purchase into a vote for a fairer and greener food system. Together, these three demos, drone monitoring, vertical hydroponics, and traceability apps, show us something powerful. They prove that sustainable food systems are not dreams for the distant future. They are working today. Farmers are using them. Cities are adopting them. Consumers are benefiting from them. The challenge now is scale. How do we bring these tools to every community, every farm, and every table? That is the work of innovation, collaboration, and policy. But the path is clear. With technology as our ally, we can grow smarter, waste less, and share more fairly. Smart farming is not just about feeding more people. It's about creating systems that are transparent, just, and resilient. These demos remind us that when we combine innovation with intention, we don't just build better farms, we build a better world. Now let's shift gears and enter networking mode. One of the most exciting features of this expo is the AI-powered matchmaking system. Instead of wandering through a crowded conference hall hoping to meet the right people, here the AI does the work for you, analyzing profiles, interests, and goals to connect you with the people who matter most. Here's how it works. First, investors are matched with startups. If you're an investor, the system identifies early-stage companies in sustainable agriculture, food technology, or supply chain solutions that align with your focus. You'll see not just a company name, but also key metrics, their stage of development, funding needs, and potential impact. This way, instead of sifting through dozens of random pitches, you're instantly connected with founders who are relevant to your portfolio and values. For startups, this means access to funding opportunities that would otherwise take months of introductions to secure. Second, farmers and policymakers are matched with regional innovators. Farmers may be searching for new irrigation systems, drought-resistant seeds, or low-cost distribution tools. Policymakers may be looking for proven models to scale within their regions. The matchmaking engine scans these needs and connects them directly to innovators offering the right solutions. For example, a farmer in Kenya might be paired with a startup from India specializing in solar-powered cold storage. A policymaker in Latin America could be connected with a cooperative model from Africa that has already transformed rural livelihoods. This matchmaking isn't just networking. It's about practical knowledge transfer that saves time and accelerates impact. Third, NGOs are matched with food distribution projects. Nonprofits often struggle to find credible partners on the ground, while grassroots projects need visibility and support. The AI system bridges this gap. NGOs focused on hunger relief, nutrition, or climate action are connected with food banks, cooperatives, or tech-enabled platforms that align with their mission. This ensures that resources, funding, and expertise are directed to initiatives with proven community value. For grassroots projects, it's a chance to scale beyond local boundaries and gain global allies. Now here's where you come in. Take a moment to check your matchmaking chat panel. Inside, you'll see a list of suggested partners. Not randomly chosen, but carefully curated by the AI based on your profile, preferences, and goals. Maybe you're an investor matched with a regenerative farming startup that's already piloting in 2 countries. Maybe you're a farmer linked to a policy team that can unlock subsidies for your sustainable practices. Maybe you're an NGO leader now connected to a blockchain platform ensuring food traceability in rural markets. This is your opportunity. Introduce yourself. Share what you're working on. Ask questions. Explore possibilities. Remember, collaboration is at the heart of the Peaceism ecosystem. No single organization can solve food security, climate resilience, or equitable distribution alone. But together, through smart matchmaking, we can accelerate solutions and create partnerships that last far beyond today's event. So go ahead, open your chat, see who you're connected with, and take the first step toward collaboration. Your next partner, funder, or ally may be just one message away. Thank you for joining us in the Food Security and Sovereignty Expo Hall, part of the World Peace Products and Services Expo and Conference. Over the past session, we've explored how farming, technology, and fairness can come together to nourish people and heal our planet. We began with regenerative agriculture, where farmers are not just producing food, but restoring ecosystems and creating resilient livelihoods. We then saw the rise of smart farming technologies, from AI-powered drones to vertical hydroponics, proving that innovation can help us grow more food while using fewer resources. And finally, we explored equitable food distribution systems, where digital food banks, farmer cooperatives, and mobile payment platforms ensure that food and opportunity reach those who need it most. Together, these approaches paint a powerful picture, a world where food is not just abundant but accessible, a world where farmers are fairly rewarded, where cities become sources of fresh produce, and where no family has to go hungry while food goes to waste. But this is just the beginning. Food security is not a single innovation or a single project. It is a movement. It is about reimagining agriculture as a system rooted in sustainability, sovereignty, and peace. It's about shifting from extraction to regeneration, from inequality to fairness, from waste to wisdom. And here's the most important part. You are part of this story. Whether you are a farmer, policymaker, entrepreneur, investor, or activist, your actions matter. The conversations you start today, the partnerships you build, and the choices you make can ripple out to impact entire communities and generations to come. As we move into the next session of the Peaceism Ecosystem, let's carry forward the insights we've gathered here. Let's remember that food security is not just about what we eat, it's about who we are, how we live, and the kind of future we want to create. So stay tuned. In the next hall, we'll continue this journey, exploring another pillar of the Peaceism ecosystem and uncovering more ways to build a world that thrives on collaboration, justice, and sustainability. Thank you once again for being here, for listening, and for believing in the possibility of a food system and a world rooted in peace. Thank you for joining us here in the Food Security and Sovereignty Expo Hall, part of the World Peace Products and Services Expo and Conference. Over this past session, we've taken an extraordinary journey together. We began by stepping into the world of regenerative agriculture, where farming is not simply about producing crops, but about restoring balance to ecosystems, protecting biodiversity, and creating resilient livelihoods for millions of families. We saw how cover crops, composting, and agroforestry transform depleted soil into living, fertile ground, and how circular farming systems turn waste into resources. We learned that agriculture, when practiced regeneratively, is not a problem to be solved, but a solution to some of humanity's greatest challenges. From there, we entered the realm of smart farming technologies, where innovation meets sustainability. We witnessed AI-powered drones scanning fields in real time to detect problems before they spread, IoT sensors giving farmers the gift of precision in water and fertilizer use, and vertical hydroponics transforming city rooftops and apartments into abundant food sources. We explored how blockchain can create trust and transparency from farm to table, ensuring that every consumer knows not just what they eat, but the story of who grew it and how. The message is clear. Technology, when used wisely, allows us to grow more food with fewer resources, and in doing so, it empowers both farmers and consumers. And finally, we turned our attention to equitable food distribution, a reminder that producing food is only half the challenge. The other half is ensuring fairness, dignity, and access. We looked at digital food banks that redirect surplus to families in need, farmer cooperatives that protect smallholders from exploitation, and mobile-based platforms that ensure farmers are paid fairly and promptly for their labor. We saw how Rwanda's eSoko platform has empowered farmers to sell directly via mobile phones, boosting incomes while cutting waste. These models remind us that hunger does not exist because of scarcity. It exists because of inequality. By addressing access, we take a crucial step toward justice. Together, these three approaches, regeneration, innovation, and fairness, paint a compelling and hopeful picture. A world where food is not only abundant, but also accessible. A world where farmers are rewarded justly, not exploited. A world where cities and villages alike become centers of food production. A world where no child goes hungry while food rots in warehouses or landfills. But this, my friends, is only the beginning. Food security is not one innovation, not one program, not one project. It is a movement. It is a commitment to reimagine the way we think about agriculture and food, from something that extracts, depletes, and divides into something that regenerates, sustains, and unites. It is about shifting our systems from extraction to regeneration, from inequality to fairness, and from waste to wisdom. And here's the most important truth of all. You are part of this story. Whether you are a farmer nurturing the land, a policymaker designing systems, an entrepreneur building technology, an investor funding bold ideas, or an activist raising your voice, your role matters. Your decisions matter. The conversations you start today, the partnerships you form during this event, and the choices you make in your daily lives can ripple outward, shaping not only the future of food, but the future of peace and sustainability itself. Every action counts. A farmer choosing regenerative practices, a startup designing smarter tools, a policymaker opening markets to fair trade, a consumer scanning a label and choosing food that honors both people and planet. Each of these actions may seem small on its own, but together they add up to transformation. As we transition now into the next session of the Peaceism Ecosystem, let's carry these insights forward. Let's not see food security as an isolated issue, but as the foundation of human dignity, health, and peace. Let's remember that food is never just about calories or crops. It is about culture, community, and the very values we hold as humanity. The next pillar we'll explore will build on this momentum, showing us new pathways to collaboration, resilience, and justice. I invite you to stay with us, to keep your hearts open and your minds engaged, because each hall adds another piece to the mosaic of a sustainable, peaceful world. So as we close this Food Security and Sovereignty Hall, let's take with us a renewed sense of possibility. Let's commit to systems that nourish people, protect the planet, and promote peace. Thank you once again for being here, for listening deeply, and for believing in the power of a food system and a world rooted in sustainability, sovereignty, and peace. Together, let's keep building that future.